Hi everyone, my name is Tom Wiley. I'm the Atlassian product owner at Arm. I'm responsible for the transformation, maintenance and evolution of our Jira and Confluence environments. I'd like to give a shout out to Phil Fox here from Adaptivist for helping us put this presentation together. We had hoped to run a live Q&A after this presentation in Vegas, but sadly Summit is now remote, so you're stuck with me for the rest of this presentation. Just a little bit about Arm before we get going. So Arm is the world's leading semiconductor IP company. We develop and license technology that is at the heart of more than 100 billion devices, from sensors to smartphones to servers. To date, Arm has shipped 160 billion Arm-based chips. That's roughly 3 for every human on the planet, which is staggering. If you have an iPhone, Android phone, Apple Watch, Fitbit, Alexa, you're using Arm design technology. Arm famously began out of a joint venture between Acorn, Apple and VLSI. At that point there were around 20 employees in a barn in Cambridge, UK. Then things really started to take off with the iPod and Nokia, and the smartphone boom propelled Arm into the most successful technology company in the UK. Today Arm is at the heart of all sorts of different technologies, powering devices with high-speed, low-power chips. Arm is also now made up of around 7,000 employees globally. As a company and as an enterprise, we expect growth and more growth. With this growth and at this pace, we need to support our people to work better, faster and smarter. Jira and Confluence play a big part in this. We want to tell you about what we have done, what we are doing and what we are going to do to ensure that these critical platforms continue to support Arm's success. At the beginning of 2019, we identified that we needed to invest in our Atlassian platform in order for it to continue to support the business through this growth. Me and my team are working on an Atlassian transformation program, and I'd like to take you through how we identified what we needed to do and how we went about starting our journey to the cloud. Firstly, we'll go through our problem statements. Secondly, we'll talk about our vision and strategy for the program. We'll talk about our plans that will help us execute our vision and our strategy. And we'll deep dive on some of those plans to talk about the challenges and opportunities we see on executing them. And finally, if you're thinking of doing something similar, we'll leave you with a few top tips not to ignore if you're going on your own journey to the cloud. So let's talk about our problem statements. It's incredibly important to understand where you are before you set off on the journey. We identified a whole range of stakeholders to engage with early on. We didn't just focus on the people who were enthusiastic for the change. We also focused on the ones who were slightly more cautious about the change. And really we just engaged with them in a number of different ways and empathized them, listened to what they were saying, and understood the problems that they were talking to us about. I'm going to go through some of the problems we were experiencing in our Jira and Confluence environments at the beginning of our transformation work. Let's see how many of these that you recognize. We wanted to understand how degradations and outages were impacting revenue generating operations teams. We calculated around a 4 to 6 million annual impact to our business from these types of events. This problem needed fixing for us, and the likely trend of downtime would pay for the transformation to put it right. This is something to look at very early on in your transformation journey, as it can help you form your case for change. In terms of applications, we wanted to understand what apps we had and how they were being used. We recognized that multiple apps were available to users that perform the same thing, and we didn't have a robust enough process to assess and check this before introducing new ones. In terms of integration, we had no control on what people and systems were talking to our Jira and Confluence infrastructure, and this method of operation was introducing significant risk into our production service, and we needed to do something about it. Regarding configurations, we wanted to take control of our core dataset and understand things like which teams are using what configurations, are multiple workflows trying to achieve the same thing, Do issue types have unnecessary metadata in their title, like Operations Team 1 task or Operations Team 2 task? As well as cleaning up our configurations and introducing some standardization across teams, we also want to make sure we manage the process of alterations to those configurations so that we don't end up in the same position a couple of years down the line. As well as looking at configurations, we also wanted to understand if we were storing data that we needed to store. Is the data still relevant, and is it valuable for the business, or can it be archived or deleted if not needed? The tendency here is to try and keep everything, but you should challenge yourself to introduce policies that control the sprawl of data in your environments, such as an archiving policy. Security is at the heart of everything we do at Arm. Historically, we've had an open Jira and Confluence environment, but we recognize, in conjunction with our enterprise security team, that access to data should be closed by default and access should be granted to users based on the classification of that data. We had no way of doing this at the start of the transformation work. We had operated for a number of years without governance or control, and this understandably led to some of the issues we've already talked about. Multiple configurations, too much data, and an out-of-control app and integration landscape. We realised we weren't supporting our users enough in their day-to-day activities, and there is a big challenge with providing this in an environment that has a number of the issues outlined already. We want to provide better usage and guidance to our business, but it will depend on the success of our migration activities, which I'll talk a little bit more about later. We wanted to dramatically change the SLAs we had in place for our standard requests and provide a better service to the business. And we wanted to make sure the quick turnaround of those tickets is performed in a way that considers keeping control of the environments. A little bit linked to degradations and outages, we also had very little visibility of how the application was performing for our users. And as a result, we often found out about issues in this space from them, as opposed to us proactively noticing issues and communicating this out to our user base. We were struggling for a way to effectively communicate with our Jira and Confluence community, and we wanted to do something about it. And really, this is just a note of caution. We needed to be prepared to say no to certain requests or consult with users on the best way to implement a request. Without control in this space, instances can become messy and unstable. So those are just a few of the problems that we were experiencing. So hopefully you recognize some of these issues, and I'm going to go through what we did about it next. We identified our problem statements as we've been through, and we categorized them so that we could organize our activities around some common themes and goals. We formed a strong product vision and a set of strategies that supported the execution of that vision. It's important that we ratified this with senior stakeholders to ensure that we retain their buy-in throughout the work. So our vision and strategy should help us understand where we're going. Our vision is to provide an Atlassian platform that enables the business to securely execute work management at Arm. This succinct statement is a statement of intent about where we want to be when our transformation program is complete. It is a permanent vision that should be strong enough to pervade the longevity of the program. Work management is our enterprise capability that we preside over in the corporate PMO. Security is inherently baked into everything we do, and being an IP company, we must ensure security is at the heart of all the services we provide to the business. And execution of our delivery is also of paramount importance. We must deliver products to our customers so that they can build products that continue to amaze their customers. We refined our vision with senior stakeholders across the business, and it hasn't changed in 14 months. If you're changing your vision every month, you don't really know where you're trying to get to. Underneath this vision, we defined a set of strategies, and I'll take you through those now. These strategies for us were driven by our categorizations of the problem statements we went through earlier. We nicely grouped the statements into these 4 areas. In terms of architecture, we are keen to provide a robust and secure technical architecture that maximizes platform availability and performance. In terms of security, we're looking to provide secure access to managed data that enables internal and external users to share their activities with their working groups. We want to provide appropriate levels of guidance and support to users to enable them to get maximum benefit from the platform. And we want to provide an exceptional level of service which supports the business in their activities. For us, these strategies are really important. It helps bound the scope of the initiative and provides a clear and simple message to users about what the work is aiming to achieve. The way we look at strategies in our program is that if we achieve them, we'll achieve the vision. We see strategies as kind of semi-permanent statements that may change over time, depending on how long the work you're undertaking is likely to run for. However, be mindful that if you change them too often, you'll be heading off in different directions consistently, and this can be costly, confusing to the user base, and you may find yourself down a dead end not realizing how you got there or where you're supposed to be going. Obviously, different things might be more important to your business, process and method of operation, compliance, for example. But these are the important ones for us at this point in time. You'll notice these strategies are also generally tool agnostic, and this is important. The next level down we tackle is how a series of plans can help us achieve our strategies. So our plans represent what we want to get done. And for us, plans can change. This for us is the distinction between vision, strategy, and plans. Plans are temporary by their nature. They need to be executed and they should contribute to one or more of your strategies. If you're doing something in your program that doesn't align with your strategies, then simply stop doing it. It's also okay to admit that some of the plans you set out to achieve might not be the right things to execute 12 months down the line. That's generally okay because planning is guessing. So don't get too hung up about it and adopt to the changes in the business at planning level. It's likely that plans will change over the course of a transformation, and that's okay. Keep defining new ones that focus on your strategies and you'll achieve what you set out to do. Also, bear in mind that your plans can't all be done at once, even if you have all the resource in the world. 9 women don't make a baby in a month. This list of plans that we're going to go through is not exhaustive, but it does represent the main focus areas of our transformation program at this point in time. We are looking to establish a product team, a team of experts who are focused on maintaining and evolving our Atlassian capability at Arm. We're also looking to move to Jira Cloud and align to the strategic direction of our suppliers and our partners. We are going to be moving all of our 10,000 users to cloud. As a result of our decision to move to Jira Cloud, we also have to plan the migration of our users from Jira Data Center to Jira Cloud. We've been honest with ourselves about whether or not we can provide the best service to our customers, and we've got help in forming a managed service with Adaptivist, our platinum provider. We've worked tirelessly with Atlassian, with our suppliers, with our partners to get the best deal for our business in terms of licensing, particularly during the migration stage when we're going to be operating in 2 different environments. We've also enlisted help along the way. This is something you can attempt to tackle on your own, but it's so much easier when you do have help. We enlisted the help of Adaptivist in our design, build and migration effort, and we have worked extensively with Atlassian and their application ecosystem vendors to secure the right licensing model for our migration phase. So the way we look at this is that if we execute on our plans, We will achieve our strategies. And as a result of that, we will achieve the vision that we set out to achieve. We are now going to go into a few of these plans to understand some of the opportunities and challenges associated with them. So these are the 4 plans that we are going to go through in a little bit more detail. And we're going to start off with the product team. So we are looking to establish a capability that can manage the transformation from Jira DC to Jira Cloud. And in addition to this team of people will be responsible for maintaining and crucially evolving our Atlassian platform at Arm. In terms of opportunities, we see the product team as having a great opportunity to provide a consultation service to the business to help work through their business problems, identify their needs, and work to implement changes. This, for us, provides a consistent capability to the business to evolve the platform moving forward. We don't just want to get stuck maintaining our platform. We want to manage and evolve and maintain backlog. It also provides us with personnel to govern and control our Jira and Confluence environments. It enables us to have a group of people who can evangelize the product throughout our business. And it also creates an important vehicle for influencing Atlassian and the partner ecosystem with a dedicated team of resources. So in terms of challenges, we're making sure that we don't get isolated as a team and that we engage continuously with our user community, making user-centric decisions. We also are keen to set the expectations of our user community, and we also don't want to say yes to everything. We want to say yes to considered change. And another challenge in this area is that this does represent ongoing OPEX costs to your business. But make the case for this ongoing resource and remember to make everyone aware of what a great job you're doing. So in terms of strategic architecture, we are making long-term decisions based on the direction of Atlassian and their partner community. We want to leverage the benefits of an evergreen computing platform that is available wherever our users are. We're focusing on moving our 10,000 users to Jira and Confluence Cloud, managing integrations better, and aligning with our enterprise security department. And I'm going to take you through each of those areas now. So in terms of Jira Cloud, we want a platform that is up 99.9% of the time. In that way, we can minimize the disruption and cost of the business caused by outages and degradations in service. We also want to be on a platform that Atlassian are focusing on in terms of their development effort. We want a platform that can easily integrate with our other cloud applications and that is also available on native mobile applications on iOS and Android. We want early access to new functionality when it is released, and we want an evergreen platform that is maintained, updated, and patched by Atlassian in the background. But there are some challenges in this space at this point in time. In terms of functional capability, Jira Data Center and Jira Cloud are very close in terms of function, but the ecosystem that surrounds them is less rich in terms of the cloud space. And you'll just have to be very careful when you're working with teams to understand what they're using, why they're using it, and work out whether you can plug some of the gaps of the cloud ecosystem in the short term to help them migrate across. You're obviously working in a SaaS environment, and that means rapid change. Things change all the time. So just be aware that you are going to be operating in a fast-paced, highly variable environment. And in terms of introducing vendor apps into your cloud environments, just be aware that there's a slightly different model here. So when you install applications in your data center environment, very little data goes out of your domain. When you install them in the cloud environment, just be conscious that you may well be sending data out to third-party app vendors, and you just need to be cautious about what data you're sending and how that's controlled. So in terms of integrations, we want to control what users and applications interact with our Jira and Confluence environments. We want to make those integrations centralized and reusable for other business users. And we want to establish contracts for these interactions. So expectations are managed about when and what users and applications can do as a result of those integrations. We want to ensure that integrations with our Jira and Confluence cloud service don't hamper the service we are providing to our end users. And so we want to monitor those integrations. But there are some challenges here. The cloud API is not as rich as the data center API, although there is a regular cadence of improvements to it. And in terms of our users, this is a big change. They are currently able to do anything they like in this space and come and get data whenever they want. But we need to consider, as an enterprise service, managing those integrations so that it doesn't impact the production service. So in terms of enterprise security, we want to enable the services securely and in line with our enterprise security controls. Our Jira Cloud is integrated with our Azure AD for multi-factor authentication, and we're also looking to align with the enablement of conditional application access to provide posture checking on device. We also are taking the step to align with our information management standard that enables us to classify data accordingly and appropriately manage readership to that data. In terms of challenges here, we see this as a bit of a compound change. The move to Jira Cloud means that we're also moving the way that we are hosting the service and how our data is being managed. So it's worth considering that as a business. And also this is a big change for our users. Aligning with the information management standard and classifying our Jira and Confluence data is another big change for that user community. But we are introducing better controls here to make sure people only see what they need to see. So with regard to migration, we are managing the transition of our 10,000 users from data center to cloud. We have focused our efforts here on technically assessing whether or not a team is ready to move, understanding what data they need to take with them, how they can align to a more controlled environment, and supporting them in that process from start to finish. So some things to consider here. In terms of technical assessment, make sure you understand what functionality is required by your teams and understand whether it's available in the target platform. Is it going to be available now? Is it going to be available soon? Is it ever going to be available? Or maybe you should look at this in a slightly different way and understand whether it is a tools problem, or can the business process be augmented to negate the need for the functionality that's being requested. And a huge opportunity for us here is all around data consolidation. So we're focusing on clearing up the mess before we migrate and setting up a straw man for configuration and challenging our migration teams to align to that straw man. And we're also being very careful about only moving what we need to move. And the challenges are obvious here. It's really difficult, especially at the moment. There are no tools to help, so a lot of the migration is manual at this point in time. Tools are coming, but they are in beta testing. So things will get easier here, but at the moment it is quite difficult. And it's worth understanding what can and can't be moved at this point in time. Some kind of everyday user capabilities, such as filters and dashboards, can't be migrated at this point in time and will have to be recreated manually. And again, there's a huge opportunity here, particularly in terms of clearing up your data. And be brave, you might not get another shot at it. If you kind of kid yourself that you'll do that really hard bit of data consolidation once you've moved everyone over, I don't think that will happen. So be brave and make sure you do the data migration correctly in the first place. So you're not alone in this journey. This is one of our key plans, which is all about getting help. We've communicated with Atlassian, their platinum partners, and all the software vendors to help us on this journey. Adaptivist have been with us from the start of this journey. They are one of Atlassian's platinum partners. They helped us understand what problems we had, what we needed to do about it. They helped us design and build our cloud environments, and they're playing a key part in our migration efforts and also in our managed service. They've also provided a really useful consultancy service throughout the whole process. And we've also been working with a lot of software vendors. Some are shown on the screen now. They have been helping us with our migration from data center to cloud, and we've been solving problems together in collaboration with Adaptivist, Atlassian, and these software vendors. So just a brief summary of what we talked through. We talked about understanding our problem statements. We talked about defining a permanent vision and a set of strategies that you want to achieve, and also then working on key plans that will enable you to achieve your strategies and therefore execute on your vision. We really hope this presentation has been useful in terms of understanding where we were, where we are, and where we are going. And I'd like to thank Atlassian for giving us the opportunity to share our journey so far with you. Before I go, I would like to share 3 top tips if you are considering something similar. The first one is all around cleanup. Migration from data center to cloud gives you a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to review your data and clean it up. Only take what you need and challenge your migrating teams to adhere to a well-considered straw man for configuration. The predominant trend in software is software as a service. It is being embraced by your software supplier and their partners, and it isn't going to revert back anytime soon. Do what is right for your business, but don't ignore where the predominant effort is going to be placed in terms of development of cloud platforms versus on-premise platforms. And don't ignore the benefits of an evergreen computing platform. Things such as 99.9% uptime, cloud integrations, new features first, all of this is coming to cloud first. So if you decide, as we have, to clean up and align and move to cloud, then this means change. And change isn't easy, and it will take patience and skill to achieve it. Your early migrations will be particularly difficult, and this is when the work you are doing will be at most risk as well. So just be clear on why you're doing what you're doing and be patient in getting to your destination. I'd like to thank you for your time today, and I hope you found this presentation useful.